Probably start off speaking about the man with. He and I do not see eye to eye on very much. Many things we do, but how we go about it, how about we go about trying to create effective change, they're very different. He doesn't. Anyway, I heard that he was cursing at children the other day. That's out of character. Cursing, yes. Cursing in front of children, yes. Cursing at children, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to curse at children. He's more likely to curse at their parents. So, when I went over there this morning to the Shell station, I heard that he was escorted off the property with a police escort. I don't understand. Maybe, all right, maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he did curse at somebody's children over there. But from the story that I've been able to gather, he didn't have his dogs with him at the time. That wasn't him. How the hell could that be him? He doesn't go anywhere without his dogs. Anywhere at all. If he was cursed, well, maybe if he went into the store and came back out and cursed to somebody's kid in the store or outside of the store. And I suppose I don't have all of the facts as far as that goes. I don't know if it was in the store or just outside of the store in between him walking back to his dogs on the corner or not. But being told that the cops had to go over there and escort him off, I don't know that they had to. Because see, that's one thing that is completely out of character for that guy. And apparently this incident happened the day that guy was yelling at me over at the Sinclair about cursing in front of children. So apparently he had an incident that morning and he figured, oh well, you know, this is my chance to be the good guy. This is my chance to make up for what I did this morning. And well, all right, he made up for it. He bitched me out for cursing in front of people that I've heard him curse in front of a lot. I have heard him curse in front of a lot of children and a lot of parents. Just a lot of people in general, screaming at the top of his lungs those curse words. I do the same thing. But I don't pretend that I didn't. Matter of fact, I post evidence of me doing so on the internet so frequently that how could I possibly deny that I do that? But also I'm a sponge for my environment. The more of that I endure, the more likely I am to spew it all out at once. The more cursing and getting yelled at and having stuff thrown at me and people bitching at me about things that I didn't do and fucking accusing me of shit that I didn't do and fucking Johnny Law, yeah, they'll come down and harass me if anybody has any sort of complaint whatsoever fucking ever. When there's people's lives at stake, they can't listen to me. Andrew Tate typed, hey buddy, why are you ignoring my comments? I'm not, Andrew. I don't know that we're buddies, but I'm not ignoring your comments. I look at a lot of stuff while I'm talking. I don't actually usually look at my camera. It takes a lot of concentration to do that. Anyway, your comments aren't as important as what I'm trying to say. And I don't mean to be rude by saying that. But this stuff's pretty important. So let's talk about my dad's health. I went up to see my dad in 2019, and he was going to help me. He was going to look at evidence, and he just never did. Never tried. I needed help getting my disability money back and defending my name. Why did I need to defend my name? Because that's what the abuse was coming from. It was coming from slander. And the more people looked away and told me I needed to just look away, no, it doesn't work that way. With each of these people who said that they would help me how I needed, and I got there, and each and every one of them, instead of helping me how I needed, they even had their own, they either had their own addiction problems or they had control issues. Andrew Tate type, you're my friend, I want to help you, Sean, I want to help your dad, I'm rich and I own 5 McLarens living in Romania. Sure. If you're that rich, tell you what, Mr. Andrew Tate, this is Hood River, Oregon. If you buy 10 acres, I'm not looking you up. I've got a lot of people who tell me stuff like that, and I got my own things going on. Buy 5 to 10 acres here in Hood River and designate them for the homeless people. If you're that rich, buy that land here in Hood River, Oregon, or just outside of Hood River. Buy some land that the homeless can utilize. A place where we can put up our tents and actually have rights. A place where we can actually set up camp and know that we can set it up long term and do what we need to do to survive. If you got that much money, you live in Romania, help to get some land set aside for that. So Andrew Tate, what I'm going to do right now is get back to what I was saying. So my dad, he wanted to scream and yell and snap at me, and no matter what I said, he wasn't going to listen. He said he'd look at the evidence, but then he wouldn't look at it. There's a lot of situations that he was aware of that are pretty important. Like he was aware of that situation with the guy from New Jersey who wanted me to sell him an engine design so he'd go use it to blow up people in a place called Azerbaijan. And I wasn't okay with that. And yeah, that sounds crazy, which is why it's important to save the evidence, which I did, both on my YouTube and in emails. My dad said he was pretty sure it was just a setup. Either way, it's something that needed to be looked into. Now, when me and my dad had our issues, my dad just wanted to do things his way. He thought that he should be master and commander, just like everybody else who wants to help me. It's their way or the highway, and they can't even agree on the color of crap. They can't work together, they can't coordinate. Well, guess who does? My predators do. Andrew Tate just showed his ignorance of American homelessness. He typed, that would be a waste of money just buying land for lazy homeless people that could easily get jobs and make money that way. You think? You think it's just that easy? That is so cute. It's not. It's really not. Americans are pretty superficial. They're taught to be that way. A lot of people out here on the streets are out here because they can't get jobs because they're sick, disgusting perverts. They're child molesters and rapists who are thrown out on the streets and nobody wants to hire them. But 80% of us are out here because of victimization. Here in America, you got to live on credit. Most of Americans live on credit. Those of us who don't get to live on credit are screwed because you have expenses, whether or not you're able to get credit assistance or not. Poverty in America is no joke. I get that a lot of Europeans think that if you're an American homeless person, it's because you're lazy. It's because you're a junkie. It's because you don't want to do nothing. Oh yeah, you could just get a job. It's that easy. No, there are so many roadblocks in the way of that. But you don't want to see those, or the enormous efforts that it takes us to get the most basic resources. You guys think getting a mailbox is easy. Well, not when they keep changing the rules. Always the rules are a little bit different when you're homeless here. The homeless don't have rights. The Constitution doesn't apply to us. It's just assumed that we're all junkies or pedophiles. We're all thieves. It's screwed up. And this bias is carried in the courts. It's carried in the public. It's carried in the news. It's carried in American movies. Meanwhile, you got no idea how much work it is just to be homeless, or how much extra it costs here in America to be homeless, because you got to buy prepared food. That is so much more expensive than if you're allowed to cook it for yourself. We got all these people in America got this great idea of, hey, you know what? I invented a new tent for the homeless. Great. We have tents. We don't need tents. We need a place to put them. We need a place to put them where we can have an address, where we can have mail sent, where we can work together as a community when the community at large doesn't like us. They hate us. They're taught to hate us. American homeless people are refugees. We live third world country in a first world. Matter of fact, we even live worse than that in most cases. We're not allowed to build a mud hut. We got to devote 30 years of our lives to buying a chunk of property, and another 30 years of our lives to all of the permits and all of that other crap in order to build a house. We've got plenty of houses here in America that are vacant, but no, we can't let people live in them. We can't allow people the basic necessities of life, the things that are required in order to actually perform any function for society. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Your base survival needs need to be taken care of first. How can you take care of anything else when you're busy just trying to get enough food to survive? You say, just get a job. Is that your answer? Most of us had jobs before we ended up with injuries that prevented us from working. The shitty health care that we have in the United States, oh my God. And then, of course, there's the fact that when you're called mentally ill, you have no rights. People automatically assume you must be Jack the Ripper. You must be a violent schizophrenic. And that's used to victimize the most easily victimized people in this country. And then you tell us it's our fault. We chose it. We chose for people to victimize us over labels, over assumptions, over looks, over money. Andrew Tate type, nobody has rights, and only the higher ups in the American system does. Food isn't expensive. Oh, you are so wrong about that, Andrew Tate. Food is expensive. Andrew Tate types, because it costs to have a roof on your head. Well, fucking duh, asshole. I'm aware that not all mental illness not all homeless people have mental illness, but here's the thing, it's not mental illness. It's either a mental disability or it's not. Mental illness is not a diagnosis. Andrew Tate typed, it's just a stereotype. That is correct. It is just a stereotype, and the point is that we are being victimized and murdered and preventing from having the most basic resources against a country that hates us and prevents us from getting the things that you take for granted. Now, this isn't about you, Andrew Tate, and as a result, I'm going to ignore you. This isn't about you. This is very specific. It's about a situation with my dad, several of them, as a matter of fact, that are quite honestly and truly more important than arguing with you over your assumptions and your beliefs. That's not my problem. You can either listen or not. Anyway, it's pretty easy to block people on my channel too. It's pretty easy to take screenshots like I'm doing now so that I have screenshots of everything that's said. This isn't about you, Andrew Tate. Anyway, my dad, instead of helping me to get the disability money back, try to clear my name, at least look at evidence and help me. At that point in time, we could have still gotten the police body cameras before they were destroyed. My dad didn't care. Anytime it came to anything doing with me, it was him getting snappy. Snap, snap, snapperoo. Snapping at me over every goddamn thing. Same way he treated me all growing up. Ever since he found out I was autistic. Fucking treating me like I'm retarded. No, that's not fucking okay. Anyway, we got a bank account and he helped me to get that. Thank you very much, and I was grateful for it. I'm just not going to look at the screen. I really need to ignore that Andrew Tate guy and actually take care of speaking on what I need to. The situation with my dad when he illegally imprisoned me in a room in his house in Washington State. The way that he treated me, that's just not okay. The way that he had been treating me since I got there, like I was mentally retarded, like I was too stupid to know up from down. That's not okay. That's not hell. So now he wants to tell me that he'll pay my insurance. You know what happened last time he said he was going to pay my insurance? He told me he did pay the insurance. I was not able to take care of any of those things for myself, especially with all of the money that was taken over false charges and false accusations, and how expensive the justice system here in America truly is. It's expensive. Being falsely charged with anything, especially when there is the bias and the ease of railroading somebody who's broke and homeless, especially if they're disabled. If people care, something might be done. If people don't care, it's just abuse. People tell you to do things that you're not allowed to do because of the mentally ill tag. Mentally ill could mean anything. There are 509 diagnoses in the DSM-5. None of them are mental illness. Not a single one. Mental illness is not a diagnosis. Never has been. Anyway, my dad telling me that he paid that insurance when really what he should have been focusing on helping me with was getting my disability money back and doing something about the reason why it was taken away to begin with. About the abuse that I have to continue to this day because, of course, my dad pretending that he was going to help me out and pretending like he cared. When I got there, he showed nothing but contempt. showed that he did not. It was all about Forex.com. Sean, play this video game. Sean, play that video game. Sean, watch Orville. Sean, watch Orville. Sean, Forex.com, Forex.com. Driving me fucking nuts with that shit. I am overwhelmed with the stuff that I got to take care of in my life, and my dad is being like that towards me. Overwhelming me with more stuff. Fucking trying to power pound it into me. No, Dad, I've got enough to deal with. I cannot handle more stuff. I can't handle it. I have my own shit I have to take care of. Will you please leave me alone and let me do it? But he never took a look. And then even though he claimed that he paid that car insurance, he didn't. Because he didn't. It overdrafted on my bank account. I didn't find that out until months later because my bank account was closed when somebody was actually trying to help me out because I was in a screwed up situation in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I couldn't receive those funds because guess what? I didn't have a bank account. Why didn't I have a bank account? Because the insurance wasn't paid. So I was also driving around Cheyenne, Wyoming, one of the worst places in America if you're homeless. And I'm driving around with no insurance because, of course, I was lied to and told that the insurance was paid. And then when I had to try to get insurance, it was a screwed up situation where I had to pay 6 months at a time. And a lot of places wouldn't cover me. See, my dad was able to have that control there by instead of helping me out to get my finances back so that I could actually pay for these things myself, he wanted to have the control over paying for them so that he could throw that shit back in my face later. But look how not paying that, how not keeping his word, look how that help cost me. Look what it has cost me, accumulated over all of this time, all of the shit that it has cut me off from, all of the help that it has prevented me from getting, all of the desperate things that I have had to do, all of the options that I did have that were cut off because of another person's help and how it actually helped me. Now, of course, my dad wants his name off the internet. He wants to pretend that none of that shit happened. He wants to try to buy me off. And again, with the insurance thing, oh, he'll pay it. No. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Look what happened last time. You really think that I can trust him not to do that again? It's not okay. If he's not interested in helping me, why the hell should I help him? Why should I hide his crimes? Why should I hide the horrible things that he did? Why should I do that? I trusted Lana and Amanda and Miss Jerry. Even after the fucked up shit that they'd done in the past. But they showed true to their nature, they're just gonna do it again. Same thing with my dad. Alright. This Andrew Tate person is a troll. I took a screenshot and now I'm blocking him from my channel. Well, if I can figure out how. Ugh. There goes Andrew Tate. That's something that I can do on the internet that I cannot do to my predators in real life. I can't just delete them. My dad's messaged me this morning. He needs to actually talk to me. This messaging back and forth thing just ain't gonna work. It takes too much out on me emotionally, and try to trust that man to do exactly the same thing that he did to help last time and ended up screwing me over with. How am I going to trust him? How am I going to do that? Yeah, I get that he was retaliating against me for telling the truth. But he shouldn't have retaliated against me for telling the truth. He should have told the truth. He should have taken the time to listen to me. He should have taken the time to look at the evidence instead of arguing and telling me what to do the whole time I'm there. Meanwhile, if you look at the things that people told me to do, you know what? People couldn't agree on what I should do. I can't make everyone happy. What I can do is the right thing, which is show all of the evidence. Show that the police and my supposed friends both told me conflicting stories. The things that my predators pulled, they actually did pull. And just because people like my dad wanted to say that they would look, people like Mandy Hughes wanted to say that they would look, they never did. You know who looked? Mandy Singer, and she paid the price for that, didn't she? She's having issues with housing because of it. They lied to her to try to get her to move out of one housing unit into the other. And then they barred her from moving into the other housing unit because she didn't meet the criteria, which they didn't tell her until she'd already had to move out of the first place. Oh, we found a lizard here. Scorpions here too. Anyway, I gotta try to get up to the hospital today and get a stent taken out of, or a loop drain taken out of my backside. Had a very minor surgery at the hospital last week, and they're supposed to tell me if it's MRSA. MRSA is potentially life-threatening. It is also antibiotic resistant, so antibiotics don't work on it. My dad, he was obsessed with not having ugly kids. So I used a lot of Noxzema wipes, and I took a lot of antibiotics to cut down my pimples. It just made them worse. Long-term effects of short-term stupidity, vanity. So for my dad, if he came down here and he was willing to admit his mistakes, if he was willing to profess by mouth and actually help to get my words out there, to do so publicly, to not be afraid of his name, to fess up to his sins and his wrongs. A lot of people say I don't fess up to my wrongdoings, that I don't take responsibility for anything. Well, there's a crap ton of evidence to the contrary right on my channel. I fess up to what I do. I have to. When I say it was necessary to do those things, I have to show, number one, all of the steps that I took to try to get help beforehand. The things that led up to having to commit such desperate acts. I wouldn't recommend my dad trying to drive here today. He's got heart problems, and driving could kill him. Especially this far on a hot day. His vehicle is a gas guzzler and a POS. It's likely to have overheating issues on the way here. With his heart problems and this heat, I don't think he would survive it. No, I cannot trust my dad with my finances. But if he really is this Christian that he claims to be now, he can prove it. I've read the book. I know what it says. I'm not an idiot. I'm going to have to endure this abuse for the rest of my life. That includes homelessness, and homelessness is abuse. Y'all got it in your heads that we all chose this. That we chose for people to victimize us, knowing that we're the ones nobody cares about, knowing that we're the ones that the bias is against. Yeah, we had a lot of help from the media making it so that it's not okay to be racist. But we don't have the media doing the same thing for the homeless. And the homeless encompass folks from just about every group. Every color, every religion, every socioeconomic background. We got homeless. Alright, I guess we'll go this way. I don't want these people staying in the middle of the road on my behalf. Kentucky. Oh. My dad had a chance to look at a lot of evidence while I was up there the first time. He had the time and the opportunity to actually sit down with me and work on that stuff. But he couldn't stop being an asshole long enough to look at it even once the whole time I was there. That's just ludicrous. I started trying to get help stopping the abuse in October of 2016, before it got out of hand. while I was still in Virginia. Well, that didn't work. Now there's a lot of people that did, and a lot of people who are well invested in making sure that the evidence isn't shown or heard because there are so many people who are dead. My dad doesn't understand that yet, and he probably never will. I don't think he'll ever take a look. He wants to buy his name out. Absolutely not. I didn't do that for anyone else either. If my dad were to come down here and actually help, that would make all the difference in the world. Here's the thing with my family. My family wanted to tell me it was the government's job to help, and the government wanted to tell me it's my family's job. And then they're up to all these folks who aren't doing it by themselves, who have all the help they need, telling me I got to do it myself. No, you cannot afford all of this shit. There is no way in hell. Being disabled sucks. Being disabled for telling the truth sucks even worse. Being abused by law enforcement until you are permanently disabled. That's never okay. Especially when it's over lies and slander. My dad's got assumptions. And with him emailing me his assumptions, after all these years of ignoring me, and now he wants the stuff off the internet, I don't care what he wants. He doesn't care what I need to stop this. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.